The Sara Lee Corporation was an American consumer goods company based in Downers Grove, Illinois. It had operations in more than 40 countries and sold its products in over 180 nations worldwide. Its international operations were headquartered in Utrecht, the Netherlands. Sara Lee is also the brand name of a number of frozen and packaged foods, often known for the long-running slogan "Everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee," often incorrectly reported as "Nobody does it like Sara Lee." While the company traced its lineage to 1939, when Nathan Cummings acquired C.D. Kenny Company, a wholesale distributor of sugar, coffee, and tea in Baltimore, the Sara Lee Corporation was actually the descendant of a Chicago grocery store called Sprague, Warner and Company. This enterprise, which started on State Street in Chicago, was founded during the Civil War by Albert A. Sprague and Ezra J. Warner. By 1909, Sprague, Warner and Company was one of the leading wholesale grocery companies in the United States, famous for house brands such as Richelieu, Fendel, and Batavia. In 1942, this company was acquired by the Canadian-born Cummings. The new Chicago-based company, at first called Sprague Warner Kenny Corporation, ranked as the largest grocery wholesaler in the United States. Annual sales grew from about $20 million in 1942 to $120 million by 1946. After changing its name in 1945 to Consolidated Grocers, Cummings unregistered trademark S company became the Consolidated Foods Corporation in 1953. In 1956, the company bought a company known as Kitchens of Sara Lee, which became one of the company's best-known brand names. Management adopted the brand name as the name of the corporation as a whole in 1985. As of 2005, Sara Lee Corporation had operations in more than 40 countries. Sold food, beverage, and household products in over 180 countries. And had some 137,000 employees worldwide. On July 4, 2012, Sara Lee Corporation was split into two companies, one for North American operations which would be renamed Hilscher Brands, the other for international beverage and bakery businesses named DE Master Blenders 1753. A Chicago-based music group called The Independents named a song Sara Lee in 1973. One of the members is the brother of Reverend Jesse Jackson. History: prior to 1985, the Sara Lee Corporation was called Consolidated Foods, of which Sara Lee was the best-known brand. Consolidated Foods had bought a Chicago bakery chain called Kitchens of Sara Lee in 1956 from Charles Lubin. Lubin had named his bakeries after his daughter, Sara Lee. She was born in 1941, and now goes by her married name, Sara Lee Schupf. In 1986, Sara Lee bought the manufacturing and mail-order operations of Wolferman's, a maker of English muffins, that dated back to 1888. On June 25, 2001, Sara Lee Corporation pled guilty to a misdemeanor and agrees to pay $4.4 million for selling tainted meat blamed for at least 15 deaths and 6 miscarriages in 1998. The agreement stressed that Sara Lee's Bill Maher Foods division did not knowingly distribute the tainted meat. On August 7, 2001, Sara Lee Corporation cleared the last remaining regulatory hurdle in its purchase of Earth Grains Company, receiving approval from the European Commission. Brenda C. Barnes joined Sara Lee Corporation in July 2004 as the President and Chief Operating Officer. Then in February 2005, Barnes was named President and Chief Executive Officer, and the corporation announced it would move its headquarters from Cincinnati, Ohio, to Downers Grove, Illinois, which housed the Campania unregistered trademark S North American operating businesses and the majority of Sara Lee unregistered trademark S corporate staff. Also in February 2005, the company began executing a multi-year plan to transform Sara Lee into a company focused on its food, beverage, and household and body care businesses around the world. To support that focus, Sara Lee announced plans to dispose of approximately 40% of the Campania unregistered trademark S revenues, including its apparel, European packaged meats, U.S. retail coffee and direct selling businesses. On December 22, 2005, Sara Lee Corporation was to delist from Euronext Amsterdam and Euronext Paris stock exchanges, as well as the Swiss exchange. The company said it was taking the voluntary step due to low trading volumes on those exchanges. In addition, as part of the transformation, Sara Lee organized its operation around its customers, consumers and geographies to better serve the ever-changing global marketplace. 2005 also saw the dark copyright butt of Sara Lee soft and smooth made with whole grain white bread. In October, Barnes succeeded C. Stephen Macmillan as chairman. The year ended with the sale of the direct selling business to Tupperware. In 2006, Sara Lee announced a new company-wide campaign, The Joy of Eating. The campaign was part of a restructuring at Sara Lee. 2006 featured the divestiture of Sara Lee's European meats and European branded apparel businesses. In addition, the corporation spun off to its shareholders the branded apparel, America's Asia, business, into a separate, publicly traded company called Hans Brands Incorporated. Including the spin-off, Sara Lee raised more than $3.7 billion in proceeds as part of the Campania Euro unregistered trademark S transformation plan. In addition to the monetary benefits, the company is now tightly focused on its core businesses of Euro food, beverage, and household and body care. In 2008, Sara Lee sold off its direct store delivery food service coffee business to Farmer Brothers for a reported $45 million. By 2009, Sara Lee was pursuing the sale of its household and body care business in their continuing effort to focus on core business. In April, Sara Lee launched a state-of-the-art research and development center named the Kitchens of Sara Lee, a 120,000-square-foot campus at the Campania Euro unregistered trademark S headquarters in Downers Grove, Ill. On September 25, 2009, Sara Lee announced it accepted a binding offer by Unilever for a $1.275 billion to sell its global body care and European detergents business. The transaction is subject to regulatory approval and consultation with European Employee Works Councils. On November 9, 2010, Sara Lee said that by selling its North American fresh bakery unit to Grupo Bimbo, it could grow in other areas. The $959 million deal gives Sara Lee the right to continue using the Sara Lee name on frozen desserts and meat products. Grupo Bimbo will use the Sara Lee name for fresh-baked products around the world except for Western Europe, Australia and New Zealand. The deal also means Grupo Bimbo gets 41 plants in the regional brands Grandma Sycamores, Heinz and Rainbow. On January 28, 2011, Sara Lee announced the company would be split into two units. The company said its North American operations would take the Helscher Brands corporate name, while the international beverage and bakery businesses would constitute a separate unit named DE Master Blenders 1753. Some analysts claimed splitting the business into two units would make a takeover more likely. Stockholders would have equal shares in both companies. In the same month, Sara Lee received noted media attention regarding their strategy to refocus on the core to revamp the company. In a Forbes magazine column, Adam Hartung stated Sara Lee could a Euro unregistered trademark T-cost cut, refocus or realign a business to success with no new products and no growth plan. Also, Marcel Smits, interim CEO since Barnes left due to a stroke, became the new CEO, and Jan Benink director and chairman. The split was completed on July 4, 2012. The successor company, Helscher Brands, moved its headquarters from Downers Grove to Chicago in 2012. Company governance. Former members of the board of directors of Sara Lee are Christopher B. Begley, Crandall Bowles, Virgis W. Colbert, James S. Crown, Laurette T. Coelner, Dr. John McAdam, Sir Ian Prosser, Roseanne L. Ridgway, Norman R. Sorensen, Jeffrey W. Orban, Cees J. A. Van Lied, Jonathan Ward. Brands, food, beverages, divested. Sara Lee Corporation announced in 2006 that it had completed the sale of its branded apparel business in Europe to an affiliate of Sun Capital Partners, Incorporated. Such brands included Dim, Playtex, Wonderbra, Lovable, Abandonado, More Die, Uno, Belinda. Sara Lee Corporation announced on September 28, 2009, that it had received a binding offer for its global body care and European detergents to Unilever for a $1.275 billion. On June 1, 2010, Sara Lee announced it had completed the sale of its 51% stake in its Godrej-Sara Lee joint venture to Godrej Consumer Products Limited for a total consideration of $185 million. On June 15, 2010, the company announced that it had received a binding offer of $153.5 million for its remaining insecticides business. The offer is dependent on European Union antitrust approval. The decision is due May 2, 2011. On July 5, 2010, Sara Lee completed the sale of its Ambipur Air Care business to Procter & Gamble for a $320 million. On April 4, 2011, Sara Lee completed the sale of its Kiwi Shoe Care business to SC Johnson for a $245 million. Ontario, 2010, Sara Lee completed the sale of White King and Janola brands to Simx for a $38 million. In addition, Sara Lee announced the pending sale of its non-Indian insecticides business to SC Johnson for a $153.5 million. In 2010, Sara Lee divested its North American fresh bakery business to Grupo Bimbo. In 2012, Hilscher Brands sold its Australian bakery operations to McCain Foods. Discontinued. On November 19, 2008, Sara Lee Corporation announced that it would close its kosher hot dog and meat processing facility in Chicago, on or before January 30, 2009. Sara Lee decided to exit the kosher meat business and discontinue processing and distributing products made under all of its kosher meat brands, including Best unregistered trademark S Kosher, Sinai Kosher, Shofar and Wilno. Consumer relations. Throughout 2012, Sara Lee contributed $343,600 to a $46 million political campaign known as the Coalition Against the Costly Food Labeling Proposition, sponsored by farmers and food producers. This organization was set up to oppose a citizens' initiative, known as Proposition 37, demanding mandatory labeling of foods containing genetically modified ingredients. The Sara Lee Foundation. The Sara Lee Foundation was founded in 1981 to formalize Sara Lee's dedication to community services. By giving cash contributions, product donations, and volunteers, the foundation has grown, touching millions of lives, helping those in need and fostering diverse artistic expression. See also: List of Illinois companies. Hans Brands, a former subsidiary of Sara Lee. References. External links: hansbrands.com company site, Nathan Cummings founder, Ambipur brand website, Cruise Plus Verd insecticides website.